Good morning. I'm Tyrell Manning, Regional Integration Specialist here at Williams & Associates, Incorporated. We welcome you this morning to Rustin's Place. This space exists to serve the community by offering free health screenings, community events, transitional services, and crime prevention education. And also just simply being a safe space in the community for people to come and be themselves. Bayard Rustin once said that we need in every community a group of angelic troublemakers, and that is why we've brought you here today, to trouble your minds a little bit and stir up a sense of urgency on the issue of HIV and AIDS in our community. I have the honor of introducing our speaker today, Darius Rucker. Darius is the oldest of 5 children from a single-parent household. He was the first-generation college student in his family. From the age of 15, he knew that he had a passion to make a difference and shut down systematic racism, classism, heterosexualism in our society. Upon graduating college, he taught for 2 years in the St. Louis Public School as a Teach for America Corps member while obtaining his master's degree in secondary education. After his second year of teaching, he realized that he wanted to have a bigger impact on a broader community, upon which he chose to begin his pathway to become an executive director for a nonprofit. Currently, he serves as the assistant to the executive director of Teach for America St. Louis. He is a big brother and big sister, tutors and mentors his former students, and serves as founding member and president of Core U. Core U stands for Keeping Ourselves Respected, Exceptionally Educated, United Together. He works constantly with youth of today to make sure that they remain STD and HIV free.
Good morning. On behalf of Williams & Associates, Rustin's Place, and Core U, I would like to discuss issues that both the national and local community faces in regards to HIV and ways that we are working to combat these issues. People who inject drugs are at a much higher lifetime risk than those who do not. 80% of males and 20% of females accounted for new HIV infections in 2014 in the St. Louis region. Additionally, in the St. Louis region, African Americans account for 67% of new HIV infections, compared to whites at only 29%. African Americans are the most affected racial or ethnic group, with a lifetime HIV risk of 1 in 20 for men and 1 in 48 for women. At the current rates of new HIV infection, 1 in 2 black men who have sex with men, also known as MSM, and 1 in 4 Latino MSM, and 1 in 11 white MSM will contract HIV in their lifetime. These numbers are not just numbers. When we talk about 80% of males, we are talking about any of my 4 brothers. When we talk about black women, we are talking about any of my last 3 managers. When we talk about black men who have sex with men, we are talking about my friends, we are talking about my loved ones, we are talking about my partner. In April of 2011, I was diagnosed as HIV positive. The words, "Your test came back positive," haunt me more than ever on this 7th day of March. To know that any of these groups mentioned could potentially come to me one day and share that they too have heard these words hurts. This hurts more deeply than ever as we move forward, especially in a world where progress is being made every single day. Throughout the past 2 years, myself and many others have devoted countless hours to becoming an agent of change for the MSM community. Here at Rustin's Place, we have worked to host many events that center around empowerment of young people ages 13 to 29. We have created continued open discussions for Black MSM to make sure that we are creating a space to listen and learn from our community. Through our empowerment group, Core U, here at Rustin's Place, we have been relentless in continuing to educate ourselves on issues that faces the St. Louis metropolitan area in regards to HIV. This past December, Core U, with the help of Williams & Associates, launched a campaign led by Jonathan Neal that focuses not on using condoms 100% of the time, but also talking with your friends and family on a regular basis about the importance of protecting yourself. We additionally are seeking more and more ways to ensure that MSM not only know about PrEP, but also have access to it. 2 weeks ago, when Tyrell Manning and myself learned that the harsh projection of Black MSM would be to contract HIV at a 50% chance in their lifetime, we both found ourselves in tears. We, in that moment, did not feel that the federal nor local governments were doing enough to protect us and our lives. From this, we decided to bring together a group of about 10 community leaders from St. Louis Black Pride, Harris Stowe, UMSL, and SLU. Our goal was to create a group of highly dedicated individuals that will devote their time putting an end to any and all issues that the MSM community faces. On all fronts centered around people of color, the rates of HIV infections are too high. This needs to be changed. This needs to be fixed. My role as a young Black MSM is to work alongside my brothers and sisters in this fight, and we will not stop with our devoted and pointed efforts until we reach zero. We will not stop until there is a cure. Thank you. Are there any questions? I'd like to open up the floor.
You mentioned PrEP. What is PrEP?
PrEP is a new drug. It's Truvada. It's called, it stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis. And essentially that is a drug that has been found to be very, very highly successful in actually stopping the transfer of HIV from an infected person to another. It has a 99% success rate, and we've seen a lot of success within it.
Is there more that you think should be happening or could happen locally here in terms of city and state government?
I think in terms of city and state government, we really have to start to look at some of the social determinants of health. A lot of these things are systematic. When we think about socioeconomic status, access to healthcare, great education, homelessness, and so on, we have to really think about the fact that there's a true correlation between one's HIV status as well as those different social determinants. And so once we begin to look at those issues, I think that we will really start to make huge gains in where we see people's HIV status. Additionally, I think there needs to be some education upon doctors and making sure that doctors are more informed on a regular basis, not only about the culture around Black MSM, but also around HIV and what that means. Yes?
Do you think there's like conversation that's actually happening or that needs to happen? Like, do you think conversations are already happening in St. Louis around this, or are more people still uninformed about this?
I will say to that, I think it is a both and, right? I think that to a certain degree, there are a lot of people who in their small circles are talking about this on a regular basis. When I think about the broader impact in what we're doing, we're not talking about it across organizations. Additionally, I think sometimes we're only talking about it from a reactive standpoint and not a proactive standpoint. And so when we think about the report that just came out from CROI that was backed by the CDC, we are very reactive to that as opposed to being on the front end and being proactive to that.
And if someone wanted to get involved, how would they do so?
People can 100% come down to Rustin's Place. You're more than welcome to look up the WRAPT campaign, hashtag WRAPTSTL, and that's WRAPPEDSTL. Additionally, you can go online to minorityhealthstl.org, and that will definitely get you more information on how you can get involved and how you can be a helping hand to the epidemic that's happening here. The address here at Rustin's Place is 1114 North Sarah Street, and you're more than welcome to come down and work with Tyrell Manning, who 100% can always use more volunteers.
What does the